Hey, it's Sebastian from the Metal Gods Meltdown, and I'm joined by
Samuel from Manimal.
Congratulations on your album, Purgatorio. How pleased are you with the finished product, and what's the response been like from media and fans so far?
Yeah, we're obviously very pleased with the product. To use a worn out way of putting it, it's our best album so far. We are very proud of it, and the response has been awesome so far. Reviews and comments on social media and so on. It's been beyond expectations, I'd say.
Can you tell us about the songwriting for the album? What experiences and ideas inspired the songs?
I would say the songwriting often starts with Henrik. He's more or less our mastermind when it comes to the songwriting, and it often starts with a riff or a rhythm, or just a loose idea of a song, and me and Henrik develop the songs from there, and often we make all these cool parts, and eventually we have to try to put all these parts together to create complete songs, and the lyrics are often written in the very end of the process. I'd say, sure, we have both me and Andre, who are writing the lyrics. We have often ideas on a early stage of the songwriting, but the complete lyrics are finished at the end of the process. Our inspiration, I would say, it comes from our everyday life, what we hear and what we see around us, and news, social media. Yeah, I would say that.
If I was totally new to Manimal, which two tracks from the new release would you play me to introduce me to the band?
I would probably not choose one of my favorites. I would probably choose Manimalized and Purgatorio. I think those two songs are among the best songs on the album, of course, but also they represent maybe two sides of Manimal. One side which is more direct and straightforward, and one side which is maybe a little bit more progressive and maybe also a little bit more melodic. So I would probably go for those two songs, try to lure you into the realms of Manimal, and hopefully you will stay there, and then I would play you the rest of the songs.
Of course, you recently returned from the USA. Can you give us details on tours and festivals for the rest of the year, and what does 2019 hold in store for you guys?
Well, unfortunately, at this point, we are negotiating some alternatives when it comes to touring next year. But since nothing is completely settled yet, I can't tell you anything at this point. Unfortunately, we have already some festival booked for next summer, but our main focus right now is to settle a European tour, probably together with some other bands to join a package and make a package, touring package of bands and. I wish I could tell you all our plans for next year, but since things aren't 100% settled, I can't tell you at this point. Sorry.
That's okay, it's fine. Can we expect from Manimal live in any case?
Well, you can always expect us giving 100%. We've always seen Manimal mainly as a live band. We actually hate the studio process, more or less, all of us. I think it's a pain in the ass to record an album, but at the same time, I know when I'm in the process to keep myself focused and try not to lose my mind. I always try to see the end of it and see. I know when I'm finished and when I'm pleased with the result, I know that I will be very proud and very pleased. So therefore, I can endure the process, and I know it's the same for the other guys, more or less. But we mainly see ourselves as a live band. Me myself, I think we sound better live than we do on the albums. That doesn't mean I think we sound bad on the albums, but we sound even better in a live context. It's what we like doing. So therefore, it's 100% focused now to settle a tour for next year, because that's why we do albums, to have a reason to go out and play and meet people and you know.
Tell us, what do you like best about touring and what's the worst?
Best would be to meet people, to meet the fans, and that is almost better than standing on stage, I think, because I'm a very social person, and it's I think it's life is more or less about meeting people and connecting with people, you know. So I think that part is probably the best part. When you, after the show, when you can go out and have a chat with people, have a beer, you know, sign some CDs and stuff, you know. I think that is great. The worst thing with touring would be I say probably the sleeping in a nightliner is the first days of the tour is the worst. Is the worst ones. It's very hard to sleep. After a couple of days, maybe a week, then you start to sleep a little better, but you never sleep that well when you're in a bus and the bus is moving, and you know. And there, it's never silent. So I think the worst thing would be no. I think I will change my mind. The worst thing is all the waiting. Yes, that is the worst thing, because being on tour is more or less stress and rest. You know, it's you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait, and then suddenly everything has to happen very, very fast, and then it's over, and then you wait and you wait and you wait. So I think that is the worst thing, all the waiting. I think we have found our ways to manage all the waiting and keep away from being too bored. By we like to take walks during the days when we have nothing to do and except for waiting. So we take walks to see the city we're in, and and also when you've been on a bus for many hours, then you need to move your body a little. So I would say the best thing is meeting people, and the worst thing is all the waiting.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on many a tour bus. It doesn't matter how plush they are, how anyone gets any sleep in those little spaces.
Yeah.
Difficult, really difficult.
Yeah, it is.
Tell me about the album cover. It's really amazing and eye-catching. Did the band have a lot of involvement in its design?
It was Andre, our drummer. He came up with this basic idea of two plague doctors standing in front of a door, or a valve or something, and we like to try to use the creature that we sort of created for the cover of our last album. We like to use the creature for this album as well, and try to develop him further. A little bit like, Eddie, Iron Maiden and Eddie. We like to do something similar. He's more or less like our mascot, this guy. So he had this idea of the plague doctors and the creature, and he presented the idea to Claudio Bergamin, who's a well-known illustrator. He actually did the cover for the last Judas Priest album. We didn't know it when we approached him and asked him if he was up for the work. We didn't know about him doing the album cover for the cover of the latest Judas Priest album. But it was announced during the time when he worked with our cover, and so of course since we are big Judas Priest fans, we thought that it was really cool, and he did an awesome job. Already when we saw the first sketches of the cover artwork, we could see that, hey, this is going to be great, and it ended up, the first time we saw it, we were just, wow, this is so cool. It's like being thrown back to the 80s with all these great album covers like Dio and Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and bands like that, and we were very happy that AFM, our record label, chose to release this album on LP vinyl as well, because it looks so great in the LP format,
Are you selling posters of the artwork at venues?
Yeah, once the tour is settled, we'll probably print some posters to use to promote the tour, and it would probably look very cool in a poster format as well, because that is even bigger. We printed some posters on our own for the release party, but it was nothing serious. But nevertheless, it looked, even though we just printed them in A3 format, it looked great. So I think Claudio did a great work. He's very talented, and I like the way that you can see that this is this is handmade. This is not, even though I know that he works with the computer, obviously everybody does these days, but he does most of the work with his own hands. He sketches and you can see that. You can see that this is not generated by a computer or anything. It's really craftsmanship.
Hold
the Metal Gods Meltdown, we seem to chat to loads of Swedish metal bands, and I just love Swedish metal and rock. And your country has such a huge amount of talented hard rock and metal groups. How difficult is it for you guys to stand out from the crowd?
Well, we can't do anything else than just play music, do music, and play music that we like to listen to ourselves. And hopefully there are other people out in the world who also have the same taste in music like we do, and then they will probably like what we do. So we can't do more than that, and try to do it in the best way we can. And I don't think we don't see all the other bands and all the other Swedish bands. We don't see them as mainly as competitors. I think it's in some way it's good to have some sort of competition, because then you listen to other bands and, hey, listen to this, it sounds so cool, hey, we have to do something like that, and we have to do it even better, and so but mainly we don't see them as competitors. We more or less see them as colleagues, and if we can help each other out in some way, we do it, and like one big family.
Which are your favourite, apart from yourselves, hard rock metal bands from your own country?
I like Dream Evil. I think even though they're what do you say, almost comedian way of approaching metal is almost too much for me, but nevertheless I think the music is great, and they are funny guys. So I would say Dream Evil, and maybe, let me think, there are so many good bands right now. Actually, I'm listening to the new Seventh Wonder album.
Cool.
It's progressive metal, and I like that as well, even though we are maybe not that progressive ourselves, but I listen a lot to progressive metal as well, and it's a great album. You need a couple of listenings before you get the idea of the songs, but I'm getting into it, and it's a great album. So maybe there are a lot of great bands, of course, here, and as soon as we stop talking, you and I will probably come up with 100 bands which I listen to as well, but those two came to my mind first, I'd say.
So can you remember the first time you ever played live and how it felt to have people watching you?
The first time we played live with Manimal was in our hometown. We were supporting a Swedish band called Mustache. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but so they played in our hometown, and we were supporting act, and it was probably a bit stiff. I believe. I think I have. No, I don't think we filmed that show, but I can remember it was probably, we were very nervous, and it was probably a bit stiff. But nevertheless, I like being on stage, going into a character, and that is one thing that we've been doing more and more lately, because it's we like to put on a show, and entertain people, and therefore using makeup and stage, what do you say? Work with our appearance. But the first show, it was more or less, leather pants and a shirt and nothing more. And we were probably just standing there playing. We were nervous, but it was great. I felt like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I'm gonna be a rock star.
Excellent. So what would you say has been the biggest accomplishment so far with Manimal?
Well, obviously, playing at Prog Power USA was a great achievement. It was a great experience. We've never been to the States and played there before, so that was obviously a big thing. Yeah, if I would pick one thing right now, that would probably be it.
Can you tell me why we should buy Purgatorio?
If you're a fan of bands like Queensryche, Judas Priest, Rammstein, then this is probably an album for you. I would also say if you're a fan of German power metal with high-pitched vocals, yeah, this is definitely an album for you. So check it out. I don't think you would be disappointed checking it out. All the listeners out there, give it a chance, and I think you will be hooked. You will be Manimalized.
4 words to describe Manimal.
Heavy, melodic, skilled, in your face.
Festival or small intimate gig?
Festival.
Vinyl or digital?
Vinyl.
ABBA, Ace of Base, or a head in a cold bucket of water?
ABBA.
Sauna or beer?
Beer.
And finally, Donald Trump or IKEA?
IKEA.
Do you have any final words for your fans and our listeners?
Go check the album out. You won't be disappointed. I promise you. Well, if you hate high pitched vocals and heavy guitar riffs, then probably you will hate this. But if you're a fan of that, then you will probably love it. Hi, this is Samuel from Manimal, and you're listening to the Metal Gods Meltdown.